In this video, I'm going to show you how you can download and install the XAnalysis client. In order to do this, the first thing we're going to have to do is actually go to the portal to download the software. Now, to get to the download of the software, you go to My Fresh Solutions with an e.com, and then you want the /downloads folder. Now, as you can see, in order to use this, I have to sign in. This is the you sign in for the portal. You should have received an email already with the details for your user profile and your password. Your user profile is actually your email address. As you can see, I've gone in before, so now all I have to do is log in. I already have my credentials saved inside Chrome in my case. So now we'll get the software screen here for download. Now I just go and select XAnalysis 13302, click on the little box there, and now you'll see we have a go-to software download. I just click on that button and then it will appear here on the download page. Now that we are on the downloads page, we're interested in these two ones up here. You need to download the XAnalysis plugin, this first one here. That is actually the one that is going to have the client in it that you'll need to access the XAnalysis software on the IBM i. The second one is an optional one, which is for the Eclipse download. Now, in order to use the XAnalysis plugin, you need to have either Eclipse or RDI already installed on your PC. You can have a version of RDI from 9.6 to 9.8. You'll see attached to this particular web page an article on how to do the install at 9.8. IBM changed the name of the RDI executable, so we have to have you do something special to do the install. If you don't have RDI, you can actually first install Eclipse version 4.4, which will then allow you to install the XAnalysis client. If you already have Eclipse installed between versions 4.1 and 4.5, you could actually use that. The install will work against that version. If you don't have that installed, you can download this version of Eclipse. Eclipse is open source, so you can install it without charge. You can install it on as many PCs as you want, whereas if you have RDI, there is a charge for that. That's purchase software from IBM. If you happen to have both Eclipse and RDI installed, by default XAnalysis will install to Eclipse. There is a PDF file attached. It's actually an extract from our user manual that if you have both Eclipse and RDI, you can actually have the XAnalysis client installed on both, and it describes how to do that. What you need to do now is download the plugin for sure. Optionally, the Eclipse version 4.4, in which case you'd have to install that first and then download the client. So please download one or both of these softwares and press pause on this video. If you need to install, just install the Eclipse 4.4. It'll install as normal software does. And then when you come back, when you're ready, when you have everything installed, I'll show you how to install the XAnalysis plugin. And the example I'm going to be using, I use Eclipse, I use the runtime 4.4 that's mentioned here, so you'll see how to do that. So as you can see here, I have downloaded the plugin, and I have it in a directory called C Windows Install. So now I'm going to double click on it to actually do the installation. It is recommended that the person who actually does the installation has administrator access to your PC. Sometimes Microsoft software requires that. So as you can see, I just double clicked on the icon, and now I have the Welcome to the XAnalysis 13302 Setup Wizard. So I'm going to click on Next. And then eventually I get to the next screen. It will be, and I get a note saying it will be installed inside System Space. It will not be possible to select the installation modes. I just click on Next. I specify now the Eclipse location. I'm going to leave it as a default. I have a 64-bit PC, so it's going to put it in Program Files x86. I'm going to click on Next, and again, it gives me the same folder again. I'm just going to click on Next. As you can see, let's put it in a folder called Xanalysis. Now I'm going to click on Install. I'm leaving on the Retain My Settings and Data from a previous installed version because I happen to have one. I recommend you leave it on. If you don't have one, it won't do anything. So now we click on Install, and it will actually start the installation process, as you can see here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this run for 15 or 20 seconds, and then I'm going to just pause the recording, and then I'll wait until the final screen shows up, and then I'll show you that. Now in my case what happened was, and I wasn't able to put this into the recording, I got a little pop-up from Windows 10 saying, do you want to make changes to this particular PC? And I clicked on yes, and as you can see now, the install is actually continuing. I'm going to pause this until the install steps are finished, and then that way you can begin watching the recording again at that point. As you can see, the install is finished. I'm just going to click on the Finish button to finish it. And now I actually want to open Xanalysis so that I can actually go and start using the client and do the configuration from my IBMI. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So if I click on my Windows key in my bottom left-hand corner, and I scroll all the way down to the bottom, because this is alphabetical, and of course Xanalysis is at the bottom. You can see I have a new program group here, so I'm going to click on that. Now, as you can see right here, first of all, there is a help. This is an HTML-based help. This is actually quite handy. It's also searchable, so all the user manuals are available here. So if you want to know something about Xanalysis, you can just open up the help and go searching for it. There's also an index and a topics section as well. Now it says Xanalysis for Eclipse. If you had installed the software on RDI, this Xanalysis for Eclipse shortcut will actually start RDI, but I installed it into Eclipse, so I'm going to click on that and it's going to start my Eclipse session. As you can see, it's the version of the software is called Eclipse Luna. So that will start up. It will take a minute to start up, a little less than that. Now when I open this up, it opened this on my second screen, so I had to transfer that over here. So as you can see here, it's started up. I have a welcome screen, and it tells me on the overview that I have Xanalysis 13.302 and a few other options that I have here, which I'm not going to need. So I'm just going to click on this X here on the welcome, because I don't really want to look at this page, and I'm never going to be dealing with it again. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to close the Java EE perspective, because I don't need that one. I'm only interested in Xanalysis. So now when I want to go in and set up my Xanalysis client, so I go Window, Open Perspective, Other. The keys are slightly different in RDI, but it's the same idea. You go into the perspective to open it. Now I have to scroll down to the bottom because I happen to be doing support. I have multiple versions, as you can see, but you would only have the bottom one here, 13.302. So I click on that, and I click on OK. So now it will actually bring up, as you can see, I said save my previous settings, so I already have an IBMI there. Normally yours would be blank. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to, and as you can see, I'm in Xanalysis version 13.302. I'm now going to go into Xanalysis, and I'm going to say a new connection, new DB2 connection for I. If you used Kerberos, you would use this option. Most of the people I've dealt with have just the IBMI connection, so I'm going to click on that. So I need to put in a host name, so I can put in either the DNS name or the IP address. I'm going to use the DNS name, which is iTest5. I'm going to put in my user ID, and I'm I just hit the tab key to get into this. I'm hitting the tab key again, and it's warning me I have my caps lock on, so I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to enter my password, and I'm going to select this little box here, retain my credentials. So the next time I start Eclipse, all I have to do is click on the logon button when I double click on my connection. So as you can see right now, it's calling it new connection. This is just actually off the screen, but on the bottom right hand corner it says attempting sign on to the IBMI. Now I'm getting this warning because the API server isn't running. I can just click on OK. You can see no API server found, and it will still keep running, it just won't be as quick. We normally recommend that you actually start the API server, but I haven't done that on this machine. Part of it just because I haven't done it, but part of it also in case you see this error, you're not going to worry about getting it. So now as you can see, I've got a little IBMI here called iTest5, and I've got a little down arrow, and as you can see there is the tutorial application that we ship with the software. So when you install the software and put it on your IBMI, that repository came with it. You'll also see down here there's some session information, and just let me make this window a little bigger. As you can see, there's job details here. This is actually a NoDBC job. This is how the client actually communicates with the IBMI when it needs to pull some information down. So this is the end of this video. As you can see, you have the software installed and it's functional, and if you wanted to, you could look at your XNA4C DXA tutorial application and get a feel for how XAnalysis works. And now you can continue on with further steps. For example, you would want to create your own repository.